Gatewalker, in the eyes of the flow, this is the moment when your financial future begins to reorganize. Not as a sudden shock, not as an empty promise, but as a silent realignment that, from now on, starts working in your favor. The gate of prosperity is open, and the very energy of the path ahead already recognizes your presence. If you are here, it is not by chance. You did not arrive randomly. You were not pulled by curiosity alone. Something ahead of you, algo que ainda neo esse revelo por completo, adjusto o fluxo para que este encontro acontecesse agora. Gatewalker, hear this clearly. Your financial future is not moving toward chaos. It is moving toward structure, clarity, and stability. What once felt uncertain will begin to show pattern. What once felt fragile will begin to gain weight and form. And what once slipped through your hands will slowly learn how to stay. The gate of prosperity is open, not because you forced it, not because you asked loudly, but because you reached a moment of awareness where the gate can finally respond without resistance. There is an ancient intelligence behind this gate. It does not reward urgency. It does not respond to desperation. It opens when perception matures. And right now, Gatewalker, your perception is changing. From this point forward, your relationship with money, resources, and opportunity begins to shift in subtle but powerful ways. You may not see dramatic signs immediately, but you will feel something unmistakable. A growing calm when making decisions, a sharper sense of timing, and a quiet confidence that you are no longer moving blindly. This is where opulence must be understood correctly. Opulence is not excess. It is not display. It is not indulgence. Opulence is flow without fear. It is the state where what comes in and what moves out no longer fight each other. It is harmony between effort and return. It is expansion that does not destabilize the foundation beneath it. And the gate does not offer opulence as an object. It offers it as an energy, one that reshapes how you walk, choose, and respond. Gatewalker, there is a reason your attention was drawn here now. Ahead of you, the coming months are not defined by sudden luck, but by increasing alignment. Situations that once drained you will begin to lose their grip. Opportunities that once felt invisible will become easier to recognize. Not because they multiply, but because your awareness sharpens. This is the beginning of a financial path guided less by impulse and more by rhythm. Less by reaction and more by understanding. Less by force and more by positioning. And here is the quiet prophecy you are meant to carry. You are entering a phase where your financial future stabilizes before it expands. Where clarity comes before growth. Where discernment protects what abundance is preparing to deliver. The prosperity gate has chosen you not because you are meant to rush forward, but because you are ready to walk consciously. Stay here. Remain present. What unfolds next is not loud, but it is precise. Gatewalker, before the flow can deepen, the field must become quiet. Nothing meaningful enters a restless space. Nothing lasting settles where urgency still speaks. So now, you are invited to slow the rhythm of the moment, not as an instruction, but as a permission you have long been waiting for. Take a breath, not a forced one, not a shallow pause, a breath that feels like arrival. As you inhale, imagine the noise of expectation softening. As you exhale, allow the weight of pressure to loosen its grip. There is no rush here. The gate does not open wider for those who hurry. It opens for those who arrive fully. Gatewalker, release the habit of bracing for loss. Release the reflex to scan for danger. Release the subtle tension that believes prosperity must be chased or defended. In this space, nothing needs to be proven. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the mind step back from constant calculation. Now feel this. A warm, golden presence begins to gather around you. Not above you, not ahead of you, but all around. It does not press. It does not demand. It simply surrounds, like a field that has always existed but waited for you to notice. This light is not excitement. It is alignment. It moves slowly, deliberately, wrapping around the chest, the hands, the center of your body. Where tension once lived, there is now room. Where urgency once ruled, there is now space. Gatewalker, this is what preparation truly looks like. Not effort, not visualization as force, but receptivity without resistance. As the golden light settles, notice how your breathing naturally deepens, how the body begins to trust the moment, how the mind stops racing ahead and rests where you are. This is important, because prosperity does not enter through strain. It enters through coherence. The gate of prosperity responds to those whose inner rhythm matches the rhythm of the flow. When the inside is scattered, abundance hesitates. When the inside aligns, abundance approaches without friction. Now, imagine that this golden light begins to gently synchronize with your heartbeat. Each beat steady. Each pulse calm. You are not summoning anything. You are allowing alignment to occur. Gatewalker, this is the preparation most people skip. They seek results without grounding, expansion without stability, growth without presence. And the flow cannot remain where grounding is absent. But you are doing something different now. You are preparing not to take, but to receive. Not to grab, but to allow. Not to force, but to remain open without tension. This state you are entering is the threshold. It is the moment where the inner environment becomes suitable for the gate to respond. Notice how the sense of urgency fades. Notice how fear loses its voice. Notice how silence begins to feel supportive rather than empty. This silence is not absence. It is readiness. Gatewalker, remain here for a moment longer. Let the body remember what calm feels like. Let the mind experience clarity without effort. Let the field stabilize. Because what comes next is not preparation. It is recognition. Gatewalker, something has shifted. Not around you. Within you. The stillness you have entered is not empty. It is observed. The gate of prosperity does not open to motion alone. It opens to presence. And now, presence has been detected. Hear this without urgency, without emotion, without doubt. The gate responds to those who arrive consciously. And you have arrived. There is a moment, quiet, precise, unmistakable, when the flow recognizes alignment. This is that moment. The resistance that once slowed your path begins to soften. Not because obstacles vanish, but because the way you meet them has changed. What once demanded effort will soon require discernment instead. What once drained energy will begin to reveal its lesson, and then release you. Gatewalker, the gate is not impressed by desire. It does not respond to wanting. It responds to readiness. And readiness is not excitement. It is steadiness. Right now, the energy of the path ahead is reorganizing itself around your awareness. Timelines subtly adjust. Choices that once felt urgent lose their pressure. Other options, previously overlooked, become visible, not as temptation, but as clarity. This is how recognition feels. Not loud, not dramatic, but unmistakably stable. Opulence, in its true form, begins here. Not as sudden gain, but as a shift in how the future approaches you. You may notice, in the days ahead, that decisions feel different. Pauses feel protective rather than delaying. And moments where you once rushed now invite observation. These are signs, not of stagnation, but of recalibration. Gatewalker, the gate does not promise excess. It offers order. Order in timing. Order in movement. Order in the way energy circulates through your life. This is where unexpected blessings begin to take shape. Not by surprise, but by alignment. They approach slowly enough to be sustained. Quietly enough to be protected. Clearly enough to be recognized when they arrive. And here is what must be understood now. The gate does not open everything at once. It opens what you are prepared to carry. As your awareness deepens, the flow widens. As your discernment sharpens, opportunities stabilize. As your relationship with energy matures, opulence becomes less fragile. Gatewalker, something has already begun moving in your favor. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The gate has recognized your presence. It does not need your belief. It responds to your state. Remain here. Stay aware. What unfolds next is not mystical. It is practical, precise, and quietly powerful. Now the gate does not whisper. It teaches. What unfolds here is not mystery for mystery's sake. It is structure disguised as prophecy. Because opulence cannot remain where understanding is absent. The first law you must recognize is this. The gate does not respond to chaos. There are cycles in your life that repeat with quiet precision. Times when energy expands. Times when it naturally pulls inward. The gate opens wider for those who learn to anticipate these rhythms instead of being surprised by them. When you begin to recognize your own patterns, the future stops ambushing you. Opulence grows where tomorrow is seen, not guessed. This is the law of conscious predictability. Next, understand this. The gate favors what returns. One-time surges of energy illuminate the path briefly, but only recurring flow sustains it. Where energy learns to come back, stability forms. Where stability forms, opulence can remain without fear. The gate strengthens channels that prove they can carry continuity, not just intensity. This is the law of recurring energy. Now hear this carefully, Gatewalker. Emotion distorts the flow. When every movement of energy triggers excitement or panic, turbulence is created. The gate does not open wider for reaction. It opens for observation. When you learn to witness movement without being pulled by it, decisions lose their weight. Opulence responds to calm neutrality more than to passion. This is the law of emotional distance. Another truth must be revealed. Not all energy that passes through you belongs to the same purpose. Some sustains the path. Some merely crosses it. When everything is mixed, clarity dissolves. When distinctions are made, order emerges. The gate aligns itself where boundaries are respected. This is the law of separation of paths. Gatewalker, the gate does not reward display. Growth that seeks attention weakens its foundation. True expansion happens quietly, strengthening what is unseen before anything becomes visible. The gate moves in favor of progress that matures outside the eyes of others. Opulence that announces itself too early becomes fragile. This is the law of silent growth. Now listen to this, because few understand it. Energy that never pauses will eventually dissipate. The gate recognizes those who preserve a portion of what flows through them. Not out of fear, not out of scarcity, but out of respect for cycles. What remains untouched becomes a stabilizing force. This is not stagnation. It is strategic silence. This is the law of the invisible reserve. And finally, Gatewalker, there is this. The gate closes in the presence of haste. Quick decisions drain more than they deliver. Choices made before their weight settles weaken the flow. When a decision feels heavy, it is not ready. When the moment arrives, clarity removes the burden. This is the law of the slow choice. These laws are not punishments. They are protections. They exist so opulence does not arrive only to disappear. So expansion does not destabilize what it touches. So abundance matures instead of evaporating. Gatewalker, the gate does not test you with difficulty. It teaches you with precision. You are not meant to memorize these laws. You are meant to feel them integrate. Because when they do, the flow stops leaking. And what approaches you can finally remain. Now the gate speaks in a quieter language. Not in commands. Not in demands. But in repetitions so gentle that it reshapes perception without resistance. This is how alignment is sealed. Not by effort, but by resonance. Allow these words to move through you slowly. Do not repeat them with force. Let them echo as recognition. You are aligned with abundance. Not someday. Not conditionally. But now, in this moment of awareness. You honor the flow of prosperity. You no longer rush it. You no longer fear it. You respect its rhythm, and it responds with clarity. Clarity guides your path. Decisions no longer feel chaotic. They organize themselves as you remain present. You welcome expansion with calm. Growth does not destabilize you. Increase does not overwhelm you. You remain grounded as the flow widens. The energy of opulence recognizes you. Not because you asked, but because your state is compatible with it. You move in rhythm with what unfolds. You no longer fight timing. You walk beside it. Unexpected blessings find you prepared. Not anxious. Not reckless. Prepared. Gatewalker, notice how these truths do not excite you. They steady you. That steadiness is the signal. The gate listens for consistency, not intensity. And this calm recognition you feel now is exactly what allows abundance to remain once it arrives. Let these words settle beneath thought. They are not instructions. They are reminders. You are not becoming aligned. You are remembering that you already are. Remain in this awareness for a moment longer. Let it integrate without commentary, without analysis. This is the quiet language of alignment, and it is always understood by the gate. If this moment has brought you clarity, if you feel more centered, more present, more aligned with your path, take a second to like this video. And if you feel called to continue walking through these gates with us, check that you are subscribed to the channel. This is where the journey unfolds. Now the gate invites you to see, not with imagination strained by effort, but with awareness softened by trust. Allow the inner field to open. Before you, a form begins to emerge, not suddenly, not sharply, but as if it has always been there, waiting for your attention to rest upon it. The prosperity gate stands in quiet stillness. It is vast yet welcoming, solid yet alive. Its surface is not cold. It carries warmth, a golden presence that does not glare, but glows, steady, intelligent, patient. You do not stand before it as a stranger. You stand as one who has arrived at the correct moment. Notice how the gate does not rush to open. It responds to your calm. As your awareness steadies, the space between its doors begins to shift. Slowly, the opening widens just enough to allow light to pass through. This light is not blinding. It does not overwhelm. It flows forward in measured waves, touching the ground beneath your feet. The ground responds. What once felt uncertain becomes firm. What once shifted beneath pressure now holds with confidence. This is stability, not as restriction but as support. Gatewalker, step closer. With each step, the light grows warmer, more familiar. It recognizes your presence. It does not question your worth. It does not demand proof. It responds to alignment alone. As you approach the threshold, notice something important. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being added suddenly. What changes is your relationship to what already exists. The gate opens wider now, not fully but sufficiently. Enough for you to see beyond it. On the other side, there is no chaos. No excess. No disorder. There is flow. Energy moving with purpose. Resources circulating without friction. Opportunities appearing at the pace they can be sustained. This is opulence as harmony. The light from the gate moves through you gently, settling where fear once lingered. It does not erase memory, it reorganizes response. Where tension lived, there is now space. Where urgency once pushed, there is now timing. Gatewalker, pause here. This threshold matters. Because crossing is not an act of force. It is an act of permission. When you are ready, not sooner, not later, you step forward. As you do, the gate does not close behind you. It remains open, luminous, aware. This is not a passage you lose access to. It is a state you learn to return to. Feel the calm confidence of standing within the flow. Feel the absence of pressure. Feel the quiet certainty that what approaches you now is able to stay. This vision is not fantasy. It is a template. You may return to it whenever clarity feels distant, whenever decisions feel heavy, whenever the path seems unclear. The prosperity gate responds to remembrance. Gatewalker, remain here for one final moment. Let the image settle. Let the feeling anchor. Because what follows is not vision. It is sealing. Gatewalker, this is where the passage seals, but the journey does not end. What is opened here does not close when the sound fades. It continues where awareness remains. The prosperity gate does not disappear behind you. It stays present because you have changed how you approach it. From this moment forward, your financial path is no longer guided by urgency, fear, or confusion. It is guided by clarity, by rhythm, by respect for flow. You may not see dramatic signs immediately, but you will feel something unmistakable. A calmer relationship with money, a steadier confidence in your decisions, and a growing sense that you are no longer moving blindly. This is the prophecy that now rests with you. In the time ahead, you will recognize opportunities more easily. Not because there are more of them, but because your perception is clearer. You will notice pauses that protect rather than delay. You will avoid drains that once felt unavoidable. And you will feel less pressure to act quickly, because timing will begin to reveal itself naturally. Gatewalker, opulence matures quietly. It does not announce itself with noise. It stabilizes first. It strengthens the foundation before expanding the structure. The gate responds because you listen. The flow continues because you honor it. The path stabilizes because you walk it consciously. You are no longer asking the future to rescue you. You are preparing yourself to meet it with clarity. This is how abundance remains. Carry this awareness forward. Return to it whenever the noise grows loud. The gate will recognize you again, because recognition is not based on chance, but on state. And now, before this passage closes, allow me to ask you something. If this video opened your eyes, if it brought clarity, calm, or a deeper understanding of your relationship with prosperity, take a moment to like this video and share with us below. What was the most valuable lesson you received from this journey? Your reflection anchors the insight. Also, take a second to check if you are subscribed to the channel. If you are not, consider joining us. This is where the path continues, gate by gate. Gatewalker, remember this above all else. The prophecy does not say you will be rich. It says you are becoming aligned. And alignment is what allows prosperity to stay.